Hi, subbies and future subbies. This is Pink Girly from Time to Be Creative. And today I'm going to work on some mixed media greeting cards using my delicious Graphic 45 scraps. I'll be using some other items as well, like some lace maybe, or some ribbon, material, buttons, whatever comes to mind. But basically, I'm going to try to use up some of my Graphic 45 scraps. I tend to hoard my Graphic 45 paper. I don't throw much of it away. And one of the shops that I have some of my items in asked me for some Valentine cards. And I did well with her over Christmas with Christmas cards. So I think that might be my niche at that shop. So I wanted to get some things together for her. And my friend in Colorado, Jean, give a shout out to my friend Jean. We were playing yesterday and making cards via the internet. We FaceTimed and had a good afternoon. And so I'm going to give a shout out to Jean and hopefully get some cards made during this video. I'm not what you would call a traditional scrapbooker, I would say. I mostly like to do things that are a little different and out of the box. I'm not big on the 12 by 12 books. They're just not for me. They just don't hold my interest. But I do like paper and, of course, working with my hands and creating some fun things. And so I thought, why not record this, see how it goes, and share what I do, and maybe it will encourage you to make some cards instead of, supporting Hallmark. I don't know. Hallmark's great, but it's nice to get something that you can make or that was made just for you or that you can tailor to a certain person or situation. And it's fun. Let's face it. If you're into crafting and arting, paper crafts, I'm sure you have lots of things sitting around the house in your craft room, in your stash that you can use. So the first thing I'm going to do, depending on how much time this takes me, because I don't want the video to be too terribly long. Of course, you can scrub through it once I upload it and view what you find interesting for you. But I'm going to work on the smaller size card. Now, yesterday with Jean, I put this card together. See where my camera is situated. I'm going to try to keep in the back of my mind not to bulk them up too much, because if someone wants to mail this could be a problem. And when I put these cards in my shops, either my Etsy shop or the shops here in town that I have my things, I always put a note in the card that says ask to hand stamp. So this is a Graphic 45 image, and then I use some other papers for backgrounds. And at the inside, I'm not going to worry about the inside, because if you're making them for yourself, you're going to do your own message inside. So I don't think I'm going to spend the time on that. I'm just going to be working on the card fronts. And in the past year or so, I've started just working on blanks and then adhering it to my card blank. And that, I have to stop saying I apologize. I keep saying When I watch my videos back, I make myself crazy. Watching a gal by the name of Rach0133. Oh, her work is amazing. She does journal pages and she also does cards. She does a variety of things. But after making several mistakes on card fronts and then watching Rach0113, I work now on card stock and then attach it to the card blank. And I would encourage you to do that. You can make a lot more adjustments that way. And if something goes awry, it's an easier fix, I think. And you're not wasting your card blank, because once you start working, painting, gluing on your card blank, There's really no place to go unless you're going to, paste something on top. So yesterday, when Jean and I were crafting, I took this craft color card blank, and I thought I would build a card on top of that. And so I took a sheet of a cardstock from this little tiny paper pad I picked up from Recollections. And I think that's the Michaels brand. And it's got a variety of little tidbits in here. So I just thought I'd use that for the background. And I love this image from Graphic 45. Now, I don't remember the paper pad name. Let's see, maybe it's on the top of this here. It says Sweet Sentiments Collection, Be My Valentine. And this is probably an older paper pad. I've had this for a while. So this was part of that collection. So I think I'm going to put that down in the center. I did have a little sentiment torn and ready to go, but I can't find that amidst all the rubble. And then I had said to Jean, I had some lace sitting on my work table, and the end of it had fallen into a jar of red water where I rinsed out a brush, an acrylic brush, and it just dyed that little piece of lace for me. So I'm going to use that there. And then I need to find my little sentiment that I'm going to put on. Or I should say I'm going to make another one. That might be a little too large. Once you get going on, I find it myself. I sit down at my desk or my workspace wherever I'm working at the moment. And sometimes I feel like I just don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't know, where to start. But once you get going, and once you get a feel for the supplies that you have to use, it starts getting easier. So for me, instead of making one card at a time, I usually make several. Seems like I have quite a shadow. I'm not sure if it'd be better if I turn off my ring light. I don't know if that might be a little better. I'm not paying attention to my lighting too much here. Oh, that's what's giving me the shadow, this guy over here. Let's see. I don't know, folks. It's kind of annoying, huh? Let's put this back on. And maybe if we move it a little bit. It's hard when you're setting up to see how everything looks. Boy, that's really a bad shadow. I'm not sure how to get rid of that. Maybe my overhead. Let's see. Nope. That's not it. Well, let's hopefully when I replay it back, it won't be too bad. All right, so I'm going to use this little With Love that also is part of this paper pack, and I'm just tearing the edge. You can cut it if that's what you like. So what I was where I was going with, when you sit down and start working on things, sometimes it can be intimidating to sit and look at, say, I pre-cut out some cardstock to work as my base to then glue onto my card blanks. And sometimes a blank space is difficult to work with, and you just don't know where to go or how to get started, especially if you haven't done this kind of project before, or maybe you're new to crafting and you just want to get started somehow and you're not quite sure, where you want to go or how you want to get started. So if you pick out a pattern paper for underneath to then put on your card blank, it's a lot easier. Or if you decide to start with a piece of cardstock, either grunge it up or put another piece of pattern paper inside or put a napkin on it. It kind of helps fill up a lot of that white space, and I think you would find it easier to get going. So I'm just going to use a little bit of, I think this is pretty much done for this one. I'm just going to use a little bit of this. I have art glitter glue in this little needle nose, what I call a needle nose applicator. And I'm just going to place that in the center where I had it. And I don't think I'm going to add anything else too much to this. Let me see if I can reach I meant to get my Fabri-Tac out. I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac for my little piece of lace. And just put a little squirt of that down here. I have my hot glue gun ready to go, should I need it. And then I'm going to go back to my glitter glue. And pop that back where I had it. Maybe I'll just do it that way instead of overlapping. That may not have been the best idea. That looks okay. And I think really that's maybe all that one needs. I did ink my edges, and I inked my edges of my card front, my card blank. And I'm just going to put that on there. Now you could spatter the background. But I don't want to make a mess right now and get spattered paint all over my other pieces I'm going to use. So I'm just going to use you could use the dry tape glue in your ATG gun if that's what you have. And that always works very nicely for this too. And you could always pop this up. I should have maybe done that, but this one's going to go down flat. You don't have to have graphic 45 paper to do this kind of project. You may like Bo Bunny paper, Recollections, or gosh, there's so many paper companies. My ultimate favorite paper, go-to paper, if I have a choice, is graphic 45. I just love their images. All right, so we're going to say that one's done. Now I'm going to look at some of the other images I have here and how I might like to use them. I have this little gal holding a, geez, looks like a ukulele or something, I guess. Okay, let's see. I'm going to get another piece of cardstock. See, now she looks cute on there, but it's just too much space behind her. I did pull out a bunch of background type papers, things that are more subtle. Let's see if I have. I don't think I like that. I'm going to be doing a lot of thinking and digging through paper on this video. It's a beautiful day here in New Jersey, and my husband's out front, I think, working on some things or working in the garage. And of course, the dogs are going crazy. I apologize. Yeah, that looks like bathroom paper to me. bathroom wallpaper. That's a little too grunge. A little too grunge. That's a little too dark. Let's see. You might like brighter cards. I like to make cards that are more vintage, old-timey looking. I think I should look on green. Geez, I'm just not liking any of this. Let's see. Oh, that looks like it might work. All right, so instead of using my white, because this is a nice heavyweight cardstock from another paper palette, and I'm not sure the name of that either, but it had some beautiful images in it. 4 3/4. Oh yeah, by 3 3/4. Okay, so I have my paper cutter right behind me, so I'm going to cut a piece that size. Just got to make sure I cut it the right way. So I want the 4 3/4 this way. 3 3/4 this way, I think. And I should have a little card blank here, so I know for sure the size is going to work. Yes, that'll work. All right, so let's see what we can build. Now, I didn't pay attention to the writing, and I think the writing goes this way. Maybe I'll pop her up. I'm going to ink my edges. And you can ink your edges this way, which is what I normally do, which is probably not a good way to teach you. You probably would be better off coming in from the side. You get a nice softer edge and look. So I'm just going to grunge this up a little bit. And I just use a piece of old, just happens to be watercolor paper that I have a hard time sometimes seeing that handwriting the way it goes. And I think this, well, the roses to me should go this way. You can't really see that well. I don't know if you can see it. It's just so faint and muted. It's really hard to, of course, it's in a different language. I think it's that way. So I'm going to put her there. And then see what else we have we can use here. Maybe I'll do that. Put a strip of that off real quick. That was not as easy as I thought. I have this new paper cutter I'm not quite used to yet, and I keep forgetting. That it's difficult to cut these little skinny narrow pieces. The guide doesn't go out to the edge, and so I have a hard time holding the paper still. The clamp doesn't really hold the paper tight enough when you're trying to cut a little thin strip. And I'm not the best at cutting paper straight. So I'm going to make sure I ink my edges on this. Let's see how this looks. If I put that there, put her here, be my Valentine. And let's see if we have a little, oh, maybe we could put, I have a little piece of, this is a little piece of tea bag. Of course, the tea was already, I drank the tea, saved the bag, dumped the leaves. And I was telling Jean that you can use these in your artwork. Kind of cool. Not sure if we really are going to need any lace. I'm struggling a little bit with those roses maybe being the in the wrong direction. And you really can't see the wording. So I think I'm going to flip this card around. And I think I'm just going to add a little piece of this lace on top of that tea bag. Okay, we're flipping. We're flipping. So I'm going to put down my little scrap of tea bag. And I'm not going to worry about mashing down the edges real tight. They can be loose and a little carefree, if you will. And that glue does seep through that bag a little bit because it's porous, you know. So we're going to do that. And then I'm going to pop up my little gal. Use these little pop-up dots. I don't really know what these are called. I just buy them when I see them on sale or dollar store. Sometimes you can get them. So I'm going to put them on the back of my image. Wondering if I should bring my camera down just a little bit. That might be better for you. I tend to be stingy sometimes with these types of things, so I'm trying not to be stingy. I'll put 3 on there. And then I always keep a pair of little tweezers because first of all, I like my acrylic nails, but they don't really work with a lot of this stuff, especially picking up little tiny tabs on things. And I want her to be just a little bit over that tea leaf, that tea bag paper. And I'm going to want that there and put my little piece of lace down. Now this lace, I just used my ink pad and scruffed it up a little bit. So it looked a little scrungy. I'm going to tuck that under. And then I'll come back with my art glitter glue. A lot of times I'll use Mod Podge for this as well, but my little needle nose applicator that has the Mod Podge and it's all clogged up, so today will be an art glitter glue day. Now I have a white card blank here. But to me, let's see which way I need to go. That's a little too much of a contrast for my taste. So I think I'm just going to ink those edges. And I'm going to use, what I'm using is Tim Holtz's Vintage Photo. That's my favorite. Of course, to be honest, I haven't tried them all. I also like that Gathered Twig. I think that's one of the other ones I like. So I'm just using that, and I'll bring out my little scruffy mat so I can come in here and just scrunch it up a bit. And reach 013 or 013. I think it's a 0 you need to put in. A lot of times she'll put a sentiment inside the card and build it on another piece of cardstock and then put it in, which looks very nice. I'm not too thrilled with my handwriting yet. I'm practicing and trying to get better at calligraphy type of writing. But I'm not really very good at it. And I think I'm going to pop that up on that surface of my card blank. So I'm going to add these little pop-up dots, one in each corner. I have round and square. Doesn't really matter, I don't think. Sometimes, depending on the project, I might cut them in half. Sometimes they're a little difficult to grab that little piece of paper. And I just eyeball it. And then give that a good press. I always go the wrong direction for my camera. I apologize for that. All right, so that's 3 we got. 3 we got. All right, let's see what else we got here. This one's cute. Cupid to you, his flight will wing, a song of love in your heart to sing. And then we've got a Valentine wish. I love this little postcard. Oh, maybe I'll use this one next. So I'm going to trim off this excess. And I didn't want to cut there, but now we'll go all the way into the color. I should do this on the paper cutter. I'd really like to have a small paper cutter. There's this gal on YouTube. Her name is G. Kerr. I love her things. She makes envelope. She makes little journals out of envelopes. She does tags and she does all kinds of stuff. And very vintage, lacy things. But she's got the cutest little paper cutter. And I cannot figure out. I should ask her. I guess she would get back to me. She's got the cutest little paper cutter. I mean, right now I've got, I think, 3 paper cutters. Like, do I really need another one? But it's so stinking cute. And it fits right on her table next to her workspace. And so it's easy for her to just work and cut. which is really nice. This new one I bought, I got a rotary blade thinking that will be better. But my goodness, it takes up so much room. Okay. Take a little sip of my drink here. All right. Now again, maybe this one would work with this. That might work. Let's see what else we have that we can put on here. That'll look cute. I think I need a little piece of what's a different, that's not Valentine. That's not Valentine. Let's see, with all my love could work. Be My Valentine would certainly work. How about this? Roses are red. Oh, I'm not in frame. I apologize. I wonder if I'm looking at my monitor. Maybe it's my monitor. Maybe everything looks better because I don't have my, that could be. I think I'm going to need a piece of material. Where did I have that? Not crazy about that. Now, let me cut this down. I'm using 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. I think I need some kind of maybe some kind of a stamp, or I could put that there like you're writing that in the postcard. I need a piece of material, I think. Let's see what we have handy here. And they saved me all their scraps, which is wonderful. So just have a little piece of muslin here that's already partially torn. I'm going to tear that a little more. I love it just torn. I think that's a little too large, but let's just see. A lot of times it's just basically moving things around, see what you like. And I like frayed edges, so I usually come back in once your material, if you need a piece that's really on the smaller side, once it gets too small, you really can't, at least I can't tear it too well. But you usually can just pull the little threads off of the end if you like that. And I could pop that up that way. Again, I'm out of frame. I'm working much too low on my desk. I get engrossed in what I'm doing, and I'm forgetting that I've got the camera going. Okay, I'm liking that. I'm just trying to think what I have that I can glue on to give it a little more personality. I'm going to grunge up my background paper. And this time I'm going to grunge, just knocking back that brightness of the little white dots on this paper. And this is graphic 45 paper as well. It's got a beautiful flower print on the back. And I apologize because I've had a lot of this for years, a lot of this paper, but you know, I've cut it all apart and made things as the years have gone by, and I am not organized. Really didn't think about making videos or needing to know or tell people what paper is being used. And so I don't have the original. I mean, I could find it online, I'm sure I would recognize it. I missed that one spot, I think. So I've got the edges of this little postcard is inked. And my roses are red, that's inked. And I'm going to take this little piece of muslin and I'm going to put a little bit of, sometimes it gets a little too dark. Just going to grunge that up a little bit. Still pulling some threads out here. I think I like the other end better. Let's not cover that up. Let's put that out that way. And you know what? This really doesn't have to be this long. Maybe I'll save the other half of it. I did have that other little, yeah, let's see what this looks like. Yeah, maybe that's better. All right, I'm going to take a little bit off of the end of this. Put that there like that. And I think I'm going to hit my light. Got a box of doodads here. And I think I'm going to see if I can find my, I don't know if it's Tim Holtz or who, but I've got pink little labely things, which I'm not seeing. Maybe I'll use one of these. One of the problems with being creative and enjoying this kind of hobby, if you will, is we're not always an organized gang. And so I know I have a pink in that little label sticker, but I don't know where I put it. I thought I put that back. But I've also got this gold. This might be better. Let's crunch these up a little bit. Just not sure I want black. Navy, I guess, could work, but I don't want it to really take away the focus of the rest of the card. All right, so I think for the most part, I'm ready to start gluing that down. So I'm just going to use my glue, my white glue. I don't really spread it out. Some gals do. I haven't found it to be an issue or cause bumps or ridges in my work. So when I press it down, it just kind of squishes out. So I just put a little bead of glue where I want it, and that's it. And then I'm going to put my fabric on. Again, I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac. I should show you this just in case you're new to this kind of nonsense. I get this at Walmart. I love it. It's called Fabri-Tac by Beacon. Bonds fabrics, lace, glass, leather, wood, and trims. Grabs fast and dries clear. It's acid-free and it's washable. It's fabulous. And then I'm going to pop the, no, I was going to glue this down. And then I'm going to pop my sentiment. I keep losing my sentiments, kids. Why do I keep doing that? Be my Valentine. I was going to pop right there, so I'll get my little dots. I'm going to use the smallest ones I have here. I put 3. Now, if I was doing a project where it was something to hang on the wall, I would reinforce and use additional glue on these. Being as it's a greeting card, and in all likelihood, whoever receives this is going to toss it after a little while. I don't really add additional glue. But if I was doing a wall hanging or something that I thought someone was going to hold on to, I would add a little extra glue to these pop-up dots because they don't always stick forever. And I don't think you should expect that they would. So it's going to go right there. Sounds like I have company. Somebody wants to go out. And then I was going to see how this looks. Not sure that's going to stick to that material, so I'm going to add a little Fabri-Tac. Yeah, I got it right on my finger. Now, really, the person that purchases this card, if they wanted, they could really add a name. Be my Valentine, you know, Joe or whoever. Excuse me 1 minute. I got to take care of this dog. Okay, now I'm going to put that on the card blank. Let's see how that looks on. And sometimes when you buy your card blanks, they give you the fold line, and you fold it and you press it down with your bone folder, and it's just not, it's just, you got a little bit of an overhang. I always like to trim that off. To me, they should fold completely even and match, but they don't always. So there again, I think that's too white. I'm going to make a little bit of a mess here. I have this little Tim Holtz sprayer bottle. And in here I put a real light brown acrylic paint, and I put water in it. And I just keep it here. Like I could tea stain the backs of the blanks or whatever you're going to use, paper you're going to use. That gets tedious for me. I'm just not thrilled about that. I love the way it looks. I'm just not thrilled about doing it. I'm always in a hurry. And I can be patient about a lot of things. I love to color, and I'm very patient with that kind of thing. But I just don't like waiting for tea stained paper to dry. That's just me. So this may not work. I'm going to squirt this with this watered down acrylic paint and hope for the best. If not, we'll use a different card blank. But I'm going to try to cover most of this, what I got sitting around here, because it will make a mess. So I pulled off a bunch of napkins and sending those to some friends. So I've got all these little pieces of napkin backing that at least would take the brunt of the spray. And I'm spraying it down into my trash can to get it started. And I think I'm going to take like an old credit card kind of thing and give it a smush. And I think in hindsight, you need to do that a little quicker than I did it, because it really doesn't take acrylic paint that long to dry. Now this may, like I said, may or may not work. And I need to find my card. Well, it's better. Maybe a little more. And let's see how quickly I can need some more down this corner. The thing is, if you're going to use this sprayer thing and keep something in it that you might use on a regular basis, you got to make sure you wipe that nozzle off. All right. Now, I'm going to use my heat gun a little. Dry that up real quick. If I can untangle it from the madness over here. You could also just water down some acrylic paint that's still not dry and do a quick wash of a color that would coordinate with your card. Oh, I really messed up the back. I have to think about that. I thought this would dry a little quicker than it is. I don't think I put that much water on it. Look how much it's curling. It's got a hoot. Look at that. Woo! Faded. All right, well, let's just see. I could always iron this. I have ironed paper before. Let's see what it looks like if we ink on top of this. It kind of gives us a little bit of a textured kind of a look. It's not quite dark enough, I don't think. I could always, when this is done, sit it under a stack of books too. That helps a lot in it. And then I'm going to do the back of the card because I've got spatters on the back. I may spatter this some more too before I... And this may end up not... this may end up being my husband's card. Oh gosh, what did I do? I hope you're not seeing that. I guess I hit that mouse. Can you tell I'm an amateur at this recording stuff? Oh goodness. All right. As I say, don't tell Ron, this might be his card. All right, let's see. Well, not liking it. I think it may work for some things. I don't think it works for this card. So we're going to poo-poo that. We gave it the good old college try, is what I say. So I want something that's going to coordinate with this kind of a peachy pink. I'm not sure if you can really see the color. And I need something that's going to look nice behind that. This is some graphic 45 paper, and this is from the, I think it was called Communique or Communicate or something like that. Script. It's too gray, I think. I really like that card top, card front. So I don't want to nix that. See what else we got here. Now this is a different, same for this is from that communique as well. But this is too, I like the pattern of it, but I think it's too burgundy. would have to be, I think, a peachier, a dark peachier color. Well, burgundy might work. I don't know. I wonder about something dark. I was thinking about maybe just a piece of black. See, this is what, of course, there's an image here that could be used for a Mother's Day card. It's beautiful. You know, you've got this border with butterflies and flowers, postage stamps. I mean, everything's beautiful. Look up here. Birds' nests, flowers. It's beautiful. You flip it over. Oh, beautiful. So how do you use the back of something like this and lose? Like, what are you going to choose to lose on this side? Ugh. I hate to pick and choose, but I'll bet you this is going to look really cool. Yeah, it looks great. Got the little circles here, and it's a brown background, and it's got little circles with a hole in the center. It just works to me. Works to me. So now I have to decide where to cut and what I want to lose from the front side. And probably I'm not going to use, I mean, these little gals are cute, but in reality of what I need and what I make, I'm probably not going to use that. Although they would be sweet to cut out and do fussy cutting. Maybe, man. I'm gonna let the I'm gonna do the bottom corner. I'm gonna have to give up a couple of these postage stamps, I think, unless I can get it out of the center here. And I want this the size of my card front, right? Because it's gonna go on a blank. So let me get my right measurement. So I need it to be 5.5 by 5.5 by 4.25. Oh boy. 5.5 by 4.25. So let's see where I can make my cut. 5.5 goes right through there. All right, so let me trim off. I think the thing to do is to trim off what you want to save first, and then work with the leftovers. Because the background is not a specific pattern, you know, that you have to match. Or so if I do 4.25 here, and I do this by 5.5. I know, you think I'm crazy, right? Because I can always go buy more paper. But I'm just, I hate wasting that paper. I'm going to put a little inking around the edge here. And I think I'm going to pop this up on the space. That looks cute. Sorry, Ron, not getting this card. All right, I'm going to do my 4 corners. Use the medium size pop-ups. Okay, so I'm at an hour. So you kind of get the idea. Mixed media, you can use all kinds of things. Paper, material, stuff in your stash, buttons, ribbons. Like several cards all the same, it certainly would go a lot quicker. But when you're using your scraps and trying to make something out of little bits and pieces, it just takes a little longer. All right. Now I'm thinking down here, that's a great big empty space, which, you know, I could have moved this down, would have been much better. But because that space is there, I think I want to put something in there. And I'm thinking some twine, a twine ribbon, twine, not ribbon, twine bow is what I'm thinking. Now, the question is, that might be okay. I'm even fussy about my twine. Okay, I've got different kinds of twine. And with Christmas having just passed, I don't have everything back in its place yet. So let's see. This is a little on the heavier side, but let's see how. And I'm going to make a double bow. So I'm going to take my 2 fingers, wrap my ribbon, my twine in and out. And I'm going to cut it. Okay, let me do that again for you. So I hold it between my thumb and my fingers, and I put my index finger, my second finger, and I spread them the distance of the size of the bow I'd want. So I go over the top, underneath, over my first finger towards me, under, and back up. You're going to have to slow this down and watch it 100 times. That's what I did when I watched the video. Put your tail behind those 2, come over the top, tuck it under, and then knot, pull it real tight to knot it. And this comes undone real easy. It really does. But if you Google tie a double bow, you should be able to come up with a couple of different videos that are a lot better than mine. And I'm going to hot glue that right there. That works for me. And you can see I've had my hot glue gun maybe on a little too long. I'll pop that down. And then trim my, and I like to leave the ends a little on the longer side so they curl up or flop around. So there's that one. And I don't think I'm going to use that card base because I messed up the back. I'm not sure I'll use that. We're just going to put that aside. And then I'm going to glue this down. And it's not quite exactly flush. So one of 2 things. I could try to trim off a little bit of my card. And I'm going to have to trim it here. So I'm going to take my pencil and give myself a little cut line. And I think I'm going to do that on my cutter, because this is a bigger piece. I can hold it. And of course, now I have a white edge, so I'm going to come back and hit that with my inker. Inky dinky dinker. And it's still just a smidge, but I'm not going to fuss with that little tiny bit. I'm just going to ink a little bit on the edges. It'll just take away that stark white look. Alright, I think that's all I'm going to do for this video. You kind of get the idea of what I was doing with my little Graphic 45 scraps. I'm going to continue to work on these, get some more ready for my co-op that I need. I'm just going to glue this down. And if I knew exactly where my tape gun was, I'd show you that too, but I don't think I have that. Oh, there it is. I don't know if I can get this out without making having a craft-a-lanch. I tend to stack things. So this is my ATC, and I'm going to put it on the card blank. Just going to run my tape on the edge, as close as I can get to the edge. Well, I didn't get a lot finished in an hour. But I like what I did. Now I have a couple of ideas of how I want the cards to look and how I want them to go. Using up the rest of my scraps, I think will go a little quicker. So we've got this guy, which I think turned out really cute. And we've got this one with a little cherub. Actually, I only really did 2.5 on camera because I had the one kind of almost done and figured out. I did one with my friend Jean the other day. We've got this one. It's kind of plain. This might need a little something, something. I don't know. Think about that. And then I've got this one. All right, kids. I hope you enjoy the video. Find something helpful. Hope you create your own cards. If you do, I would love to see them. You can post them. Leave me a comment. Ask me a question. If you're not a subby, I wish you would become a subby. And I certainly would appreciate a thumbs up if you found this video interesting or helpful at all. And you can also visit me at my Etsy shop, which is Time to Be Creative. And don't forget, take time to be creative every day and enjoy the journey. Bye, guys. See you in the next video.